Hi everyone, this is Maryann and you're listening to Random Sage with Maryann from Revealing Light. Good morning, everybody. It is a bright and sunny Monday morning here in Australia, and I'm pleased to say the weather is getting much warmer as we approach the end of winter and move into our spring. And of course, in spring, in Australia, we get lots of snakes coming out. So this will be my next problem as I ride my e-bike along the river trails, is watching out for snakes. But I, for one, am welcoming the warmer weather. Today, I want to talk to you about the big lie. I want to go to the US and indeed other places where it's okay to lie. It's more than okay to lie. It means that you can make money if you lie. There's an incentive, lots of an incentive to lie. You can join a huge cult of people that lie to make money, lie to join the Liars Club, lie to be part of a group led by the biggest liar of them all, criminal defendant Trump. Where do the lies end? Where do the lies end? Yes, they do. They have made Trump and others a lot of money. I go back to Alex Jones, the loudmouth, bombastic liar that grifted on his show for a long, long time, even promoting conspiracy theories around school shootings. Where do the big lies end? Trump, the biggest lie, the election was stolen. Where is that lie going to end? It's like we have been through a period where we haven't been accountable for our lies. Let's unpack why they lie. They know it's a lie when as soon as it comes out of their mouth, as it's coming out of their mouth, they're formulating a lie that they know is a lie. Let's not beat round the bush. They know it's a lie. They say it with a smile on their face. Not only do they not care, they actually take delight in the lie because it makes them feel powerful. I'm strong. I can lie. Anyone who tells the truth is weak and woke. And go cry me some tears because I don't care. I'm lying. That's what is going on inside their head. When they're called out for the lie by, let's face it, a pretty lame media who actually just report the lie like it's some kind of truth. They're ambiguous at best about whether it's a lie or not. They'll put it in a headline in quotation marks. So the media are part of this big lie stuff going on as well. When they're called out, if they're ever called out, because remember on one of the major cable channels in America, Fox News, they never called the liars out. It ended up costing them a lot of money. But when they are called out by another media outlet, they make fun of those who tell the truth. When I go to Georgia in the US, those poor election workers, the Freeman, mother and daughter, the Freemans, Ruby and Shay, I think are their names. All they were doing was answering the call to volunteer for an election. Next thing you know, the big lie caught them, targeted them, made them victims. They were pressured. They were threatened. They were defamed in the most horrible way. accused of stealing the election in Georgia. This was just two ordinary election workers without power in the face of a tsunami of lies. A pastor, a church pastor, has been charged for his part in trying to pressure them to say that they cheated, that they did the wrong thing, they mishandled votes, they changed votes, whatever the accusation was. Remember, Trump, let's just please find me 11,000 odd votes. I won Georgia. The lie. And 10 years ago, this kind of behavior would have landed these people in prison. In fact, as people look back on this pathway between sowing the seed of the lie and how it resulted in an insurrection at the Capitol trying to overturn a free and fair election in 2020, these people who not only bought into the lie for whatever their reason, and if you look at the demographic, it'll be anything from grifting to being part of the cult to feeling the power and the blood of violence in my veins because the president said I could do this, to just the sheer blood rush of trying to commit an insurrection, through to my side won. I don't care whether your side won fairly. Our side's going to win by brute force, skullduggery, and lying. And then you have the people that let's face it, are too unconscious to know any better for whatever the reason. These people, after an insurrection, just walked away. Where on earth would that happen? Where a parliament was broken into, stormed, overrun, dreadful acts committed within that parliament or congress, and then they just walk off back home. Over the subsequent years, of course, they were imprisoned, and some of them have got very, very hefty sentences. But it does underscore how far the moral compass ricocheted off its dial in 2016 and before, because it allowed a big liar, a fraudster, to take the presidency of the United States. So where does the big lie end? What's the trajectory here? Well, it's ending in the court of law, where truth is upheld, where the facts are upheld, where the evidence still has supremacy. The ex-president and criminal defendant, Trump, is facing multiple indictments. Those around him who aided and abetted are facing multiple indictments. The lawyer, I say with a wry smile, the lawyer, John Eastman, when asked did he still think the election was stolen, said yes with a smile on his face, absolutely. What was the media doing, shoving a microphone, asking that stupid question to get a soundbite? What was that journalist doing in not saying, you're lying? What do you say to that? You are still lying, because we've got the evidence here. Why are you lying? We can ask as journalists the questions, why? It's been proven it's a lie. Why are you lying? And then follow up. But that's not the case. It's been debunked. And again, and again, and again. Because what we're fighting for is the truth. Now, I'm, among other things, clairvoyant. I'm also a tarot reader, and I've noticed that it's a fortunate time for the truth now, right now. So where does this big lie, where does the lying end up? Well, I've talked to you before that in a survival situation, you can't have alternative facts, lies, dissension, disunity, because you won't survive. We have seen what this lie, this grifting off lies, where that's taken us and where it will continue to take us as well, because the incentive to lie and grift and make money off lying is great. It's great. Social media has been, when I say great, it's significant. People can make money off lying, and they are doing it. But the players are changing now, because I watched a footage of one of the biggest grifters and liars, Marjorie Taylor Greene in the US. She actually got a seat to Congress by saying, I'm your girl. I'm the one that's going to lie, and I'm going to do it with a smile, and I'm going to do it with force, and I'm going to be a force to be reckoned with. Turned up to a protest of Trumpians when he was being charged, indicted for the 4th time in the state of Georgia. The liars and the Trumpians, remember, grifters, cultists, violent people. What a bunch, eh? What a bunch. They actually turned on her because she supported Speaker McCarthy, because she supported him to get the speakership, and they have a dim view of McCarthy because he's not extreme enough for them. He won't burn the Congress down for them. It's irony. It's dripping with irony, blood red with irony. Marjorie Taylor Greene will always wear her red, won't she? They chased her away from the protests, calling her a rhino, a Republican in name only. They chased her away. They were calling her Large Marge. They were laughing. There were shock jocks, you call them, on the microphone. Again, the Alex Jones 2.0 type. We're laughing at her. We're saying, run, 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 Large Marge, run, run, run. So, how the worm has turned. Is it to be expected when you're dealing with this bunch of people, these bullies, these schoolyard bullies, this pack mentality, these violent people, these lowlives, headed by the biggest one of all, Donald Trump? But I often think to myself, I read years ago that the Trump would actually form another party, that it will get to the point where, all things burn out. The law is finally trying to correct this moral arc that went off its dial, trying to bring it slowly back into place. And hence we have multiple trials. And we shouldn't be surprised. Trump has a history of fraud and conning and bankruptcy and negativity and racism. We shouldn't be surprised that he's now being held legally accountable. He's always had lawsuits. He's always lived beyond the law. It just hasn't caught up to him until now. But, what's going to happen? Well, I saw a long time ago that ultimately the GOP will break from Trump when they have no other choice, and Trump will start a third party. It won't go anywhere because Trump's time will have been spent. Fox News or Fox in the Republican debate barred Don Jr. and his I don't know what you would call her girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, barred them from what they call the spin room, where the media can go and ask the candidates questions. Barred them. I thought was so funny. You should have seen their faces. What? I'm not allowed to play anymore? I can't do my show and grift off this? Some of the GOP candidates are starting to call Trump out. In Georgia, I was asked the question, well, will the Georgia government get rid of the Fulton County District Attorney, Fonnie Willis, for indicting Trump? My answer was no, because the governor of that state has just as much interest in getting rid of Trump as what everyone else does. There's talks about Trump handing his assets off to his children. A federal, there was a filing to the federal court to disqualify Trump from running again as the president of the United States. Trump doesn't want to be the president. They just want to grift off politics and political donations. So I'm going to ask this question. What a tawdry, horrendous, disgusting chapter this has been, where the moral arc nearly jumped off the dial, not just in the US, but other places as well, particularly with the anti-vaxxers, the conspiracy theory. What a tawdry, shameful part of our history. And the bottom line is that it will continue for as long as people subscribe to it. But this is a huge episode of accountability where it's a fortunate time for the truth. And we are seeing that play out in the US with these indictments of Trump, criminal defendant Trump. It's sweet. It's a sweet victory to see. All right, let's ask if the cult, given that they can turn on one of their own, Marge, and drive her out, will there be a time when they will ever turn off Trump? Will there be a time when Trump supporters will abandon Donald Trump? Will there ever be a time when the majority or a good deal of supporters abandon Donald Trump? I'm seeing the Supreme Court, probably when he's disqualified. Because he's got no power, then he's got no chance of having power. And that's the thing, isn't it? I'm okay, I can lie, I can get away with it, because the biggest liar is now in charge. So when he is disqualified under the 14th Amendment for aiding and abetting insurrectionists, that's when the Republican Party will boot his ass out. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. His ass. Okay. All right, his backside. Let's have a look. Will there be a time when a good deal of Trump supporters will turn away from Trump? So we get here the Queen of Swords, logic, when logic reigns, when the trail for the big lie has ended, when it cannot go any further, when it goes to the highest court in the land and the highest court says no. We are a nation of law. Well, of seeming laws. You've pushed the boundaries way too far. The Page of Pentacles, young people. It doesn't take many years for people to be lost in the memories of youth. In other words, young people coming up. Who? Trump who? He'll be forgotten. The King of Pentacles is at the foundation, the biggest grifter of them all. There will still be people who will grift off politics like he does. Temperance and order in the past will have been maintained and restored. In the sky, we get the 8 of Cups, walking away from what no longer serves us. There will come a day when Trump cannot serve the needs of his worst element of supporters because he won't have any power. The Empress card, abundance, a period of time. They may look to somebody else who might provide more abundance for them. So we have here the Emperor card. But remember, accountability is slowly bringing this moral arc back. The Emperor card, control, and the 3 of Wands. Waiting for one ship to come in. Again, I saw the Supreme Court, the Hierophant card. The High Priestess in the hopes and fears. The High Priestess, many secrets to emerge, many secrets to come out, and we get the Tower card. No. Something has been broken, though. Something has been torn asunder through an abuse of power. Is a no. And we get the 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. Wish fulfillment. And the King of Wands, bravery, collective effort to put this episode behind. And we get the 6 of Swords, finally moving away from what has been, leaving behind, moving away from what has been really a breaking down of the rule of law in America through an abuse of power, moving away from that. The moral arc being brought back into position, moving away from that danger. The base of the pack, we have the 8 of Swords. There it is, a worry that it was going to spin completely off its dial. The Knight of Cups, the appeal to the cult. The Queen of Cups, the secrets. Nobody told the full story, did they? There will be a lot of blame, new starts. I see a lot of blaming of Trump in the future by people who suddenly, when he can't offer them power and reprieve, pardons, anymore, when people pay the ultimate cost in their freedom and liberty and finances as a result of this big lie, the lies, I see a lot of blame being directed toward Trump. Just as they chased Marjorie out, they may well turn on their cowardly leader. All right, the big lie, where does the trajectory end? Of course, it's a fortunate time for the truth. It can be no other way. All right, bye for now, and thanks for tuning in.